Okay. So welcome everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy whatever the heck is going on in the air today, right now. I feel like probably it means the moon is doing something. I just don't know what it's doing. Oh, eclipse will do it for sure. Yeah. So here we are. Welcome. My thought for you today that I have been playing with, which kind of goes along with what I was saying before we started class, is being like the alternate option of, instead of practicing yoga and trying to get nice and quiet and steady inside, is instead maybe you need to go break things. Like maybe that's part of what also needs to happen, for yourself and in your life. And how this is fitting in, what I've been thinking about, or what I've been working with, because I see it happening all around me and I see it happen with me all the time, is people who are really invested in being spiritual, people who are really invested in being good and kind and compassionate, people who are really invested in being responsible and trying to be the best version of a human being that they can be, is all of those people struggle a lot. And what we struggle with is the idea that because we want to be those things, we no longer allow ourselves to make mistakes. We no longer allow ourselves to have the imperfections. We no longer allow ourselves to feel what we feel and go through what we go through, because we think somehow that doesn't belong with that idea of being responsible, being the best human you can be, being spiritual, being a yogi, being whatever it is that you are struggling so hard to be. And so I see this happening all the time. I feel it happening inside of me. And that struggle of assuming that just because you are on the path that you're on, the way that you are striving to live your life, just because you're on that path doesn't mean that you are suddenly going to be without inconsistency, or that you're going to be without change, you're going to be without flaw, that you're going to be without whatever it is that you think is the problem in the way that life happens to you, right? Because that's the reality, right? It's that we can want to be a certain way, and then life happens. And the way life happens is often not the way that we predicted, not the way that we wanted, not the way that fits into our ability to always act in the way that we think we want to be acting, right? Our emotions don't play by the same rules, right? They happen as they happen. And so there's a beauty in knowing that you can have this desire to be that spiritual person, or to rise to that level of yourself that you know that you want to rise to. But you cannot deny yourself those moments when, yes, you want to break things and maybe have to break things. You can't deny yourself those moments when you need to scream and yell, when you are going to say something that was not skillful, that wasn't compassionate, it wasn't kind, right? Or not at the level that you wanted it to be. You're going to have those days that you fail miserably at your own expectations. And that's okay, right? It doesn't mean that the path that you're on is in any way degraded or less good or less important or less real, right? It doesn't mean any of that. It means that you had a moment where you remembered that you're human. And that being human is that messy quality of saying, I can always strive for what I strive for. And whatever happens, because this is how life happens, whatever actually occurs is I can know that that's good enough, right? Because I still hold that desire to keep striving. And this is really a yogic practice, right? It's to not to try to make yourself exist as a certain way, but to find the way that you already inherently truly exist. So having the ability to not embrace as something that you have to let run wild, but to be able to accept your anger, to be able to accept your frustration, to accept your sadness, to accept your joy, to accept all of this beingness that there is without trying to make it act a certain way. That's what we practice for, right? Is to find ourselves, not to recreate ourselves, but to find ourselves. So this is my thought, is maybe we can all stop struggling a little bit. Right? Said it to someone even today in a text message, we should all, struggling by yourself is dumb and we should all stop. It's why we have this community. It's why we have this practice, is to bring you back to knowing that the struggle is not making you a better person. You already are innately a great being. The practice just helps reveal that by allowing it to unfold. And again, our striving helps it unfold in skillful ways. All the practice is for is to let what's already inside of you unfold in the most skillful way that it can. And sometimes that means it wasn't the perfect thing to say. It wasn't the perfect result. Didn't happen the way that you wanted, and it's still exactly good enough. And if we can internalize that, and that feeling of struggle can dissolve, that's what we call inner peace, right? So let's practice for that today. And whatever comes along with that, whatever path it takes you to get to dissolving that inner tension, then you include that. And if that means you walk out of class today and you go break something, good job. Proud of you. Right? And if it means you do something completely opposite to that, proud of that too. You know, you have to let what's inside of you unfold as it does. So find your seat. Let's practice. Let your eyes close. Just for a moment, let your mind filter through all of those things that you wish that you could have said and done today, but you held yourself back. And if not today, maybe the last week, last month, all the times in your life where you held yourself back because you thought this is the better version of me. And how much those impulses and desires are still stuck in the back of your mind. Still demanding that you acknowledge that there is a part of you that wishes to have the ability to dissolve and destroy, and the ability to create, and the ability to sustain. Let your mind filter through all of that, and then let go of that feeling of I have to hold myself back from this moment. Don't hold back. Practice angry, or practice sad, practice joyful, practice neutral, practice confused. Let go of that inner restriction so that the practice just helps you reveal what is already finding its way through you. And whatever is not skillful, this is the magic of the practice, whatever is not skillful will move itself through quickly. You don't have to act on it. The more you hold it back, the more it entrenches itself. It becomes an impulse that has to always be held back. So you let it flow with your breath. Whatever is skillful in that experience will find its way to the surface. Every part of you becomes your ally, your friend. One more full deep breath in. Exhale all the way out. And bring the hands together in front of the heart center. Rub your palms fast. Rub, 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 fast, 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 fast. I always say if your hands have not lit fire yet, you're not rubbing fast enough. Rub. Good, and then steady the palms together, either at the heart or placing the palms down on the heart. Feel the beat of the heart. We'll open sound of Om, deep breath in. Let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands, please. Then go ahead, come forward onto hands and knees. Good. Do a little bit of cat and cow just to warm up the spine. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And as you inhale, pull the tail and the sternum away from each other, letting the belly drop and expand. And then as you exhale, reverse that, drawing the tail and the sternum towards each other as you expand the back of the body. So pulling up and round through your spine. And then continue as you inhale, finding that place where you move through neutral, extending both directions. Then exhaling, drawing in and up again through that center space of the spine. Good, keep going, a couple more breaths. Nice, nice, nice. Good, you guys. And then bring yourself back to neutral spine, shoulders over the wrists. Good. Stretch your right leg back behind you, toes tucked, drop the heel flat, and then take your right arm up to the sky. So you're coming into an open twist. Nice. Keep pressing through that left shin. So not just through the knee, but through the entire shin. And try to keep the heel directly in line with the knee. It tends to swing out to the side if the hip is tight. So try and bring it in and then press down. Good. Deep breath in, stretch that right arm over the ear towards the center of the room or the middle top of your mat, and then arc up into your right side rib cage. So pull up into that right side body even more, pressing through the baby toe of that right foot. So you get that stretch in the outer thigh. Nice. And then release back to hands and knees, please. Beautiful. Go to the other side. Take your left leg back behind you. Toes tucked, drop the heel flat, take the left arm to the sky. Good. And again, pressing down through the whole length of the right shin. So even if your toes are tucked, you can press down into the foot. Don't let all of your weight fall just into the knee. Good. And then stretch the left arm over the ear towards the top of the mat. Rotate that left armpit open a little bit more. Nice, Anju. There you go. And then really arc your left rib cage up towards the ceiling. So pull up through the outer edge of your left hip. Feel that baby toe edge of the left foot root down to the floor. Really nice. And then release that hand down to the floor, back to hands and knees, please. Downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Good. Pedal your feet, but do it on purpose so that as you are alternating, pressing one heel down, you bend the opposite knee nice and deep and let your hips sway from side to side. So you let your knees actually cross towards the center of the mat as you bend each knee. So let the hips move. Swivel. Good. Hilariously, Linda, you are swiveling your hips the opposite way. Don't know how you did that, but you are. Good. Come back to center, please. Bend both knees a lot. Let your hips drop towards your heels. Cat cow your spine. So as your knees are bent deeply, cat cow your upper spine. Hips still lifted. Nice, you guys. Yeah. It is amazing how much we have internalized these ideas that being spiritual means this, or it means that, or it means you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't ever have a bad day, right? Somehow that's what it seems to mean. And if we do have a bad day, then we're like super apologetic about it and we do nothing but, you know, judge it and make ourselves crazy. And we're like ready to tell everyone that we're having a bad day just in case we say something that they don't like. We're like, I really am a spiritual person and I'm really sorry that I'm not going to be perfect today. Straighten the legs, please. Let your heels drop towards the floor. Good. Then slide forward to plank pose, upward push up. Nice. Drop the right knee down to the floor underneath your hip. Turn that left heel down towards the floor again. Good. Take the left arm up to the sky and then lean onto that right hand. Float the left leg up parallel to the floor. So you're in that little Ardha Chandrasana variation. Good. Then start to make little circles with that foot, like you're drawing circles or hula hooping with your ankle. Right? So little circles. Good. You got to really stabilize. So press through that right shin. Yep. Little circles. Keep going. Nice. You got it, Beth. Nice, Laura. Good. Come to stillness, please. Bend that left knee. Kick your heel in towards your butt. Reach back for the foot or the ankle if you'd like. Yeah. Nice, you guys. And then kick that foot into your hand so that as you're drawing that heel in, you're also giving that stretch to the front of the thigh. Nice. And then go ahead and release the thigh. Stretch the left arm up to the sky. Good. Release back to hands and knees, please. Nice job. Stretch your right leg back behind you. Toes tucked. Drop the heel. Take the right arm up to the sky. Nice. And then again, leaning on towards that left hand, float the right leg up parallel to the floor. And again, with a straight leg, start to draw those little circles again. So again, finding that stability. Good. And what I find is really good for working through that little subtle anger that happens in our mind is to have to concentrate. So if you have to concentrate and actually use some of this deep internal muscular energy, is it helps to work out that excess. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Bend the right knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, reach back for the foot or the ankle. If reaching the ankle is not an option today, keep the hand at the hip or behind the head. Nice. And then once you have hold of that foot, if you're holding it, kick your foot back into your hand so that you have that resistance, and draw the top of your pelvic bones up towards your belly button. So you're stretching the quad thigh from the top of the thigh. Good. And then extend that leg all the way back to straight. Come all the way back to hands and knees. Nice job. Come back to downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Beautiful. Take your right leg up and back behind you. Down dog split. Nice. Step that foot forward between the hands. Lunge. Drop the back heel, baby toe parallels back with your mat. Warrior two. Take the shoulders over the hips, stretch the arms out wide. Good. Let that right knee swivel out so it points towards your second toe, and then let that left hip spin forward any amount that it needs to. Nice. Bring the right forearm onto the front thigh. Take the left arm over the ear at the side angle. Good. Feel that drawing up through the rib cage, so round into that left side rib cage again. Beautiful. And then keep that feeling of lift, but now extend your right armpit forward. Feel that left rib cage drawing in and down towards the floor. So you get more length on the lower rib cage, right rib cage. That's it. Nice, you guys. And then cartwheel the arms back up to warrior two. Beautiful. Straighten the right leg. Drop the left hand down the back leg. Hit the right arm all the way up and back. So it's like reverse warrior, but your front thigh is straight. Good. So you're actually just lifting that right hip up off of the thigh. Nice. And then still leaning back, bend your right knee again, coming into warrior two, still leaning towards the back of your mat, the reverse warrior. That's it. And then come all the way back up to center, please. Reach behind you, interlace your fingers at the low spine. Good. Shrug your shoulders up, hug the elbows towards each other. Turn your ribs towards the top of your mat, and then bow inside your front thigh, stretching the arms up and over the head and your mouth. Good. And again, up over the head sounds very ambitious. So if it's just lengthening the arms a tiny bit, perfect. Press into your front heel here, you guys. Actually really press through that front foot, not the weight falling into the ball of the foot, root through your heel. Good. Nice, you guys. Release the hands down to the floor, please. Spin your back heel up and square the hips. Drop your back knee. And then take both hands inside your front foot. Walk towards the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Good. Separate your hands a little wider so you're up on your fingertips. Give yourself plenty of room. Good. So hands even wider than your shoulders. Good. Then as you're breathing, let yourself do those little chest push-ups. So as you exhale, let the elbows bend wide, dropping the chest inside the front knee. And then as you inhale, let yourself come all the way back up. Good. Keep your front heel rooted to the floor. Nice. Let that move a little bit more towards the upper left-hand corner. So that's same thing, Juliana. Your hands. Nice, you guys. And the idea here is, again, to just let whatever is flowing through you move through you with the practices. There's no need to filter, right? Especially when you're on your yoga mat. The great thing is that even though it may often feel like, and I may even pretend to know exactly what's going on in your head while you're practicing, I'm not going to call you out on it unless you're being ridiculous, right? So let whatever is there be there. Stop filtering it. Right? The purpose of this practice is to let yourself really experience your authentic self, to not keep working with the restrictions that the mind says, I'm supposed to be this, I'm not supposed to be that. Because I'm a yogi, I'm never allowed to have a bad day. I'm never allowed to get angry. I'm never allowed to be in a fight. I'm never allowed to, want to say something unskillful. I'm never allowed to break things. Good. Walk yourself all the way back in, please. Hands in towards that front foot. Nice. Lift the back knee and then step your left foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight Parsvottanasana. Good. So the right leg is forward, Jillian. Just step the left foot back. Yeah. Even a little further, just so you have. Yeah. There you go. And blocks under the hands. Great idea. Nice, you guys. Draw the tops of the thighs up and back. Good. And then take one more breath, pressing down through the big toe mound of the front foot. Beautiful. Bend the right knee, walk your fingertips forward, step up into standing split. Keep those blocks underneath the hands if you'd like. Good. Bend both knees. So bend your standing knee so that you can really drop your weight in towards your heel, and bend the back knee as well so you can kick that thigh higher. Good. So it's like you're finding the split position, but your knee is bent. So pull that thigh higher, but then rotate that left hip point down towards the floor. And that standing knee is still bent. So again, you're really working that outer hip. Good. Scoop into your low belly. Nice. And now start to extend both legs to straight at the same time, keeping your head dropped. Just reach out through your heels. Really nice, Laura, with that. Nice, Kristen. Kick that heel up higher. That's it. Good, you guys. And then go ahead and bend the right knee again. Step your left leg way back behind you. Come back to downward facing dog. Good. Come forward to plank pose, upward push up. Yeah, scoop into your low belly, please. Lift your shoulders, lift your collarbones higher. Yeah, then float that left foot up off the floor, please. Yep. Good, just a little bit. Nice. Now keep that foot lifted, kick the thigh up into down dog split, pull your hips up and back behind you, reach through that heel. Excellent. And then step the left foot forward between the hands. Come on. Drop the back heel, baby toe parallels back up your mat into warrior two. What? No vinyasa to reset your brain? No, that's correct. No vinyasa. Let your left knee go a little wider towards the second toe. That's it. Nice, you guys. And then bring the left forearm onto the front thigh, take the right arm over the ear, side angle pose. Yeah, whatever you're feeling, whatever comes up in your mind, keep putting it into the flow of your breath, that you don't hang on to it. Arc up into that right rib cage, right? So frustrating practice is a little bit more vinyasa-y. Good. And now feel that lengthening of your left side rib cage to the lower rib cage. Pulls, 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 pulls. It's going to feel like that right rib cage is actually softening in. Yeah. And then bring yourself all the way back up to warrior two, please. Straighten the left leg, drop the right hand down the back thigh, take your left arm all the way up and back. So you find that lifted reach towards the back of your mat first. And then while you're reaching, bend your left knee so you take it into the reverse warrior position, letting your knee, again, the way you remember it, tracking towards your second toe. Move it towards your second toe. Press through that front heel. Awesome. Cartwheel the arms back up to warrior two. Don't change the legs. Take your hands back behind you. Interlace your fingers. Good. Shrug the shoulders up. Squeeze the upper arms. Turn your ribs. Then bow inside the front thigh, stretching the arms as long as they can go, maybe bringing them up towards the top of the head, but keeping your tops of your arm bones lifting forward, keeping the top of your sternum lifting forward. Nice. And then front knee is over the front ankle, because why would it not be there still? Good. Nice, you guys. Deep breaths. Excellent. Release the hands down to the floor, please. Spin your back heel up. Let that right knee come down to the floor. Then walk your hands towards the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Come on up on your fingertips. Again, hands nice and wide. And then again, as you're breathing and you exhale, bend your elbows wide, drop your chest any amount towards the floor. Let your hands be as wide as they need to be, so it feels like you could drop your heart to the floor between your hands. And then as you inhale, you come back up. Just let yourself do that over and over again. And do it without the mentality of, okay, I'm going to get something done here. I'm strengthening my shoulders, or I'm going to drop my heart to the floor. Just stop and breathe, right? Let the chest drop. This is our struggle, right? Is that we always think that somehow if we do the practice right, we're going to get somewhere, or that whatever we're doing, it has to be for the purpose of getting somewhere. Good. Yoga asana is to help unlock where the energy is bound in the body. So whatever the heck that means. Wherever you arrive at through that practice is, well, that's where you're going. Was it where you intended to go? Probably not. Laura has achieved cat furniture status. Probably not what she intended, but there it is. Life happens. Good. Slowly bring yourself back up, please. Walk your hands back in towards that front foot. Lift the back knee, and then step your right foot forward just a little bit, come into Parsvottanasana. Yeah, suddenly whatever was going on in your brain has now completely shifted because you're thinking about or actually watching Laura's cat on her back all the time. Good, you guys. Feel your feet. Don't get distracted. Press through the big toe mound of the front foot. But the beauty of that image and the beauty of practicing with life happening all around you is that there is no perfect practice, right? There's the practice that you do. And the more you let yourself flow with that practice, is it becomes useful. If you keep trying to turn the practice into something, turn yourself into something, and you're going to end up feeling like you have to throw away 90% of who you are. The practice is for you. So enjoy your moments of irritation, frustration, confusion. And then let your mind remember that there's something beyond that. The whole point of what we're doing. One more deep breath, draw the tops of the thighs back. Good. And then bend that left knee, please. Walk your hands forward, step up to standing split. Again, you can keep the blocks under the hands if you'd like. Good, right leg is lifted. And then bend both knees. So as you bend the standing knee, you're dropping your weight in towards your heel, moving your hips slightly back. And as you bend the knee that's in the air, you're kicking that thigh higher. So you're still splitting the legs. Nice, Beth, you got it. Good, so good, Crystal. Nice, Kristen, kick that thigh higher. Good, now press into or stretch through both heels, straighten both legs. Yeah, so you're not just trying to power up one, as you're using the whole strength of the lower body to push as long as you can through your legs. It's easier to do it with both than it is to isolate. Good. Nice, you guys. And then bend that left knee again, please. Step back to a nice long lunge. Plant the hands, come back to downward facing dog. Got it. Come forward to plank pose. Upward push up, armpits over the wrist. Float your right toes up off the floor. Yep. Yep, hover. Shoulders forward. Pull into that low belly. Nice. And then kick that right heel higher. Come into down dog split. You got it. And then bring that right knee forward and wide. Pigeon pose. Right knee towards your right wrist. Slide the left leg back. Let your hands walk forward, come down onto your forearms. So no collapsing onto your belly, but coming down onto the forearms or onto blocks. Great idea. Good. Pressing through the front shin. Good. So I know pigeon is sometimes the preferred let me take a nap pose. Don't take a nap. Stay with the feeling of pressing through your shin. Stay with the feeling of drawing your hips back and down as though your seat still intends to find the floor. And then pressing into your forearms, even feel yourself isometrically dragging back so you feel the armpits lengthening forward. Nice. I hope that you make mistakes in your spiritual practice every day. I hope you do it once so that you realize that it doesn't matter that you make the mistakes. And so that you continuously find that through all of those messy avenues that you didn't consider, you didn't expect, you didn't ask for, that through all of those avenues, you actually find the depth and the nuance of what your spiritual path is. Because that's the great thing, right? Is when life continuously destroys the way that we thought we were going to do it, it continuously destroys the things that we thought we were good at. And it forces us to learn to experience what we're looking for in a different way, is then we truly understand it. So there's no such thing as a situation where compassion cannot enter in. And compassion can be right there with anger. It's not one or the other. But how much space do you leave for the skillfulness to happen? And how much are you just running off of that pure adrenaline of your emotions? That's the only difference, right? Because the yogi is aware of when the adrenaline is carrying you and when you're actually engaging with what's inside. Skillfully navigating. Take one more breath. Then either staying on your forearms or walking back up onto your fingertips, bend your left knee, kick your heel in, reach back with the right hand for the foot or the ankle, so the twisting quad stretch. Good, press down to the top of that left thigh. So you feel your hips lift slightly, and then press into that hand or forearm so that you again pull your ribs away from the floor and then rotate the heart towards the side. Yeah, and then draw your throat back. Really nice one. Nice chilling. Good, throat cleansing. Don't let that left shoulder collapse forward. Nice, you guys. Unwind, release the foot down to the floor. Walk your hands back up. Good. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, hover for a moment, lift that right shin up off the floor, and then swing it all the way up and back to down dog split. Yeah. Nice, you guys. And then come forward to plank pose. Keep that right leg lifted, but drop it down in line with your hips. You're back to that one-legged plank. Beautiful. And then release the foot to the floor, lower all the way down to your belly, coming to knees if you need. Rise up, Cobra, lift head, neck, and chest. Then exhale, release, downward facing dog. Nice. Come forward to plank pose, upward push up. Lift your left toes up off the floor. Hover. Good. Don't let your shoulders fall back. Pull your armpits forward. Feel the back of your throat lift. Draw your shoulder blades towards the center of your heart. Good. Now from your low belly, kick that left thigh higher. Come back to down dog split all the way up and back. Nice. And then bring that left knee forward and wide, pigeon on the second side. As you drop the back knee, let that right hip spin forward, scoop and lift your left low belly. There you go. And then walk yourself forward onto your forearms. And again, try not to collapse into that position, but to actually place yourself there so that your arms are actually continuing to help you as architecture, right? To start to keep the spine longer. So drag back on the forearms and feel your spine get longer. And feel your hips pull back and draw down towards the floor. Nice. And press through that front shin. And then continue to pay attention to all those things, but relax. Good. It's very funny that since my daughter is always watching nature things, she is obsessed with every game that we play is like predator and prey. So she's always telling me that I'm a predator and she has to hide from the predator. And what's crazy though is that our mind is doing this all the time. Like it's hiding from these imagined situations or people or moments where we're going to be judged, we're going to be beat up, we're going to be whatever we think is going to happen if we do things wrong. So it's funny how often she's like, I have to hide from the predators. This is what I have to do to be safe. And I'm like, no. Don't let your mind start talking about the world that way, although I know what she's doing and it is important what she's doing. But I see my own mind doing that and say, no, don't keep talking about the world this way. It's really okay that you feel what you feel. And it's really okay when you're like, wow, it's a mess in there. And you think you're at your lowest moment. What's wrong with that? Think that you're really no good at spiritual practice. Great. Keep inviting compassion into that. Because if you can invite compassion into that and start to feel that there's room for it, then that is the best spiritual practice that can be done. Right? Our mind can't quite understand that it's the doing, not the success, that matters. That we can be bad at this our entire existence, and the fact that we're still doing it means so much more than even one moment of doing it perfectly. we're getting the result that we want from it. Take one more breath, drag back on those arms, feel your spine. And then walk yourself back up onto your hands. Bend your right knee, keep your heel in. So you could stay on the forearms, forearms or hands. Reach back with the left hand to the foot or the ankle, so the twisting quad stretch. And again, you're pushing into whatever is touching the floor. So the hand or the forearm, you're pressing into your shin, so you get that little scoop of your low belly, drop your tail. So it's almost like you're trying to tuck the tail. Yeah, and then really press through the top of that left thigh. Nice. Let the throat move back with the chest lift up and open. Really nice, Sue. Go ahead, throat back. You got it. Nice, Kristen. Excellent, you guys. Slowly release the foot. Please take your hands back down to the floor. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Cover that left shin up off the floor for just a breath. Good, and then take that leg all the way up and back to down dog split. Awesome. Come forward to plank pose. Keep that left foot lifted, but drop the leg down in line with your hips. So it's hovering just above the floor. Beautiful. Arm comes forward. Awesome. Let that left foot come down to the floor, lower all the way down to your belly. Slow. Come to the knees if you need. Rise up into Cobra Lift, head, neck, and chest. Feel the expansion of your heart. You're like, what does that mean? Not just your chest, but the expansion of the heart energy, the openness. And then exhale, release, come back to child's pose, lift up the hands and knees, take your knees wide, hips back to your heels. Catch your breath. I know we come back to this idea over and over again of our imperfections, and we say things like, well, the lotus, if there's no mud, there's no lotus, and all of that, but we still imply in our minds that at some point we're going to be the lotus and the mud won't detract from us, that we won't really have it, or that it won't affect us. And maybe that's true, but until you actually understand what your mud is, you haven't come to peace with it yet, then it's going to keep throwing itself in your face. Walk your torso to the right, please. Belly over your right thigh. It's a lovely thing when you are teaching moments or when your spiritual practice gives you the moment to experience your life as compassion includes the desire to break things. Come back to center, walk to your left. Compassion includes a feeling of failure. Being the best version of myself includes my jealousy, includes my fear. The only difference is that as the yogi, we say you can be fully aware of those things and they don't rule your actions. Remember that there's something else. That however that energy is rising in you is that it can be used in a skillful way. Walk yourself back to center. And hilariously, they even say sometimes the skillful thing is you don't realize how much the explosion that you have at someone is exactly what was needed. And you're like, not what I should have done. And the universe is like, exactly what we needed you to do. Thank you. Move that energy. Don't take it for granted that you should always do that. But don't judge yourself when you do. Walk yourself back up onto hands and knees. And come back to downward facing dog. Got it. Step the right foot forward between the hands. Lunge. Drop the back heel. Baby toe parallels back up your mat. Take both hands inside the front foot. Plant that right hand right up against your shin, or the right forearm up against your shin. If you need a block underneath that hand, use it. And then take the left arm up to the sky. So it's a little side angle variation. So reaching straight up. Good, good, good. So you're pressing the forearm back against the shin if the two limbs are touching. Squeeze that right butt cheek back and in. Nice. And now you're already reaching straight up towards the sky. Start to straighten your right leg into triangle pose. So all you have to do is push through that foot, pull up through your hips, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Yeah. Nice, you guys. And then take the left arm over the ear, reaching towards the top of your mat. Bend the right knee again, back to side angle. Again, keeping the hand on the floor or sliding it up towards the top of the thigh if necessary. But let that knee go forward a lot over the ankle. Nice. And then stretch the left arm straight up to the sky. Turn your palm to face back. Reach around to find the outer edge of your right hip. Good. Press your low back into your hand. There you go. Nice. And then if you want to go for the full bind here, go for it. Just bend that right elbow, reach underneath your thigh and see if you can reach up and find that hand. Nice, Laura. You got it. Draw your shoulder back against that thigh. Beautiful. And then slowly release. Mark, you gotta have the elbow inside the knee. Yeah. Lift that back heel, please. Step back, down dog split. Take your right leg up and back behind you. You got it. And then step that right foot back between the hands. Yep, all the way forward again. This time taking the back knee down to the floor. Inhale the arms up to Anjaneyasana. I know you're doing every yoga posture that I can think of. Just kidding. All the leg ones. But you're not holding them for very long, so don't get complaining. Take one more breath. Let your thigh move forward. Let your knee move forward. Drop your pelvis. Yes. And then release the hands down to the floor, please. Excellent. Lift that back knee. Step the left foot forward all the way to the top of your mat. Straighten the legs. Forward fold. You got it. Good. And then take your hands to your hips, please. Come all the way up to stand. Good. Letting the left leg be your standing leg. Bring your right knee up in towards your chest. Reach for the baby toe edge of your foot with your left hand. Turn your shin. Little baby cradle. Nice. And then hand that right foot into your right hand. So reach for the baby toe with your right hand. Pull that knee nice and high. You might even take your butt back. Good. And then scoop the low belly so your tail starts to drop. Start to extend that right leg out just halfway. So don't even straighten it. Just take it out into that frog position. Good. And push your foot into your hand and draw your shoulder back and in so you have the resistance. Good. You could also be doing cross-legged chair here if this standing balance truly just does not work for you. Good. Nice, you guys. Press, press, press. Awesome. And then bring that leg all the way back forward again. Squeeze it in. Release the foot down to the floor. Inhale the arms up to the sky. And then exhale, bow forward. Beautiful. Plant the hand, step or jump back into plank. What the heck? Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need. Rise up into cobra, lift head, neck, and chest. And then exhale back to downward facing dog. Good. Left foot steps forward between the hands. That drop the back heel, baby toe parallels back of your mat. Take both hands inside the front foot. Plant that left hand or left forearm right inside your left shin. Take your right arm up to the sky. Again, you can use a block underneath that hand, especially because you know where we're going. So you're in a side angle variation. Left hand down inside left foot. Good. Let your knee go forward over your ankle. The great thing about having the block under your hand here is that you can start to find that awareness of the knee over the ankle so that you can memorize what that feels like. So that you don't even have to look to see if that's where your knee is your body knows that that's the point where there should be an ease, right? There's actually an ease in the joint, not the muscles, but in the joint. Good, you guys. Start to straighten your left leg into triangle pose. You don't have to move anything, just straighten the front leg. You got it. Reach through that right wrist. Let your right shoulder fall back. Good. And then reach that arm over the ear, reaching towards the top of your mat. Awesome. Bend the left knee again, back into side angle. Again, keeping your hand on the block or sliding the forearm up onto the thigh if you need, but bring that knee all the way forward over the ankle. Yeah, nice, Crystal. Good, you guys. And then stretch that right arm straight up towards the sky. Turn your palm to face back. Reach around to find that outer edge of the left hip. Nice. Press your low back into your hand. And then let your ribs draw in and open the chest. Beautiful. And then if you're going for that full bind, drop the left shoulder inside the left knee, reach underneath the thigh to reach back behind you. Yeah, you got it. Exactly. And then you got to draw this shoulder back inside the knee. Good, you guys. Deep breath. And then slowly unwind, please. Nice, Jillian. Hand to the floor. Good. Release the hands to the floor. Spin that back heel up. Bring the left leg, step forward, top of your mat. Yes? Yeah. Yep. Yes. Top of your mat. If there was something else, oh well. Forward fold, please. Take your hands to your hips. Come all the way up to stand. And then right leg, standing leg, bring your left knee up in towards your chest. Reach for the baby toe edge of the foot. Turn your shin so it's like you're doing that standing pigeon. Good. Top of the right thigh goes back. Yeah. Flex that for the lot, Sue. There you go. And then start to hand that foot into your left hand. So the left hand holds the baby toe. Draw that knee super wide. Maybe even lean forward so you can take your butt back and get more into that hip. And then scoop your belly to drop your tail. Lift that heel a little higher. Good. And start to push it out like you're going to straighten the leg, but don't straighten it completely. Just push the foot into the hand and draw that shoulder in. Again, you can be in cross-legged chair here if this balance does not work. Good. Beautiful, you guys. And then slowly release, hugging the knee all the way back in towards your chest. Replace that foot. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale, bow forward. Beautiful. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Come up halfway. Draw your low belly in. Extend heart and tail away from each other. And then exhale, bow deeply again. Hold either here. So if your hands cannot reach the floor, hold the back of your calf muscles. If your hands do pretty much reach the floor, either hook your first two fingers around your toes, or even better, take the backs of your hands to the floor and step your feet up onto your palms. Yeah. So the backs of your hands touch the floor. Step your feet up onto your palms like your toes are coming to your wrist creases. Deep breath in again, whatever you're holding, lengthen. And then exhale, bend the elbows, draw yourself deeper in, send your tail to the sky, press through your heels. Nice. Good, and then release the hands, please. Nice job, you guys. Step yourself back to downward facing dog, 1 foot at a time. Or extra points if you jump, absolutely. Good. And then drop the knees down to the floor, please. Do a little bit of cat and cow. It will be a curious thing at the end of class if you feel like the same emotional state that you walked in with still exists. Maybe it does and you're just more tired. It's always possible. Good. Right, but the breath helps remind us that there is a steadiness. That we can bring that chaos into steadiness without changing what it is, we just steady it. So that's all this practice is for you to take all of that energy, emotional, mental, whatever it is, that is stuck in whatever pattern, in whatever attachment, whatever reaction, and just steady it. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Then go ahead and take child's pose one more time. Let your knees go wide, big toes together to touch. Drop your hips back to your heels. Breathe really deeply into your lower back. Then slowly walk yourself all the way back up. Come onto your seat. Stretch your right leg straight out in front of you. And then bend the left knee, bring the bottom of the left foot to the inside of the right thigh, let your knee go wide for Janushirshasana. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Then do a little twist towards the right. And then bow forward. Well, if you want to get the same side as the rest of them. I think that maybe the days that we would label as our bad days are the actual really important ones. Because the days where everything feels easy and you think you've got everything under control are the days where your mind is not really considering compassion. It's not really considering patience. It's not really considering very much of probably anything. On the days that are a challenge, when it feels like those things are very far away or we don't understand them or we're not good at them, those are the days that break down some of those places in us where we insist that we have to be good at it for it to matter. You don't have to be good at it. By not being good at it, you learn to be skillful. And being skillful is all that is really at the heart of this practice. And eventually your mind breaks down enough to say being skillful is being good at this, whatever this is. And all along, I was so mean to myself when I could have just been saying, good job, keep trying. Walk yourself all the way back up, please. Beautiful. Spin that left knee up to face the ceiling and then step the foot over the right thigh. Good. So you can either stay here or you can bend the right knee as well, taking your heel towards the outer edge of your left hip for half Lord of the Fishes, so the twist. So either way you're twisting. Wrap the right arm around your left knee. Left hand comes back behind you. Good. Nice, you guys. You also have the option to hook the elbow on the outside of the knee if you choose. Good. Make sure you can feel both sit bones, especially if you have both knees bent. Nice. Good, and then release the twist. Keep your legs where they are. Just take both hands to the outside of your right hip. So you come into the counter twist, twist the other way. So don't change your legs, Gillian. Just switch the hands. There you go. Good. Keep letting your shoulders fall back. The twist comes from the low belly. Nice. And then unwind, coming back to center, please. Stretch your left leg straight out in front of you. Bend the right knee. Bring the bottom of the foot to the inside of the left thigh for Janushirshasana. So knee goes wide first. We'll take the arms up alongside your ears. Little twist to your left. Bow over the extended leg. So watching that your toes do not fall in or out. Don't wish for you difficult days, but when you have them, I hope that you just let yourself acknowledge that, yeah, today's a hard day. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to justify it to anybody, why it's hard or how it's hard. You just say it's a hard day. That feeling of ease or peace is elusive, irritable. The more that we do that without judging it, without trying to make it better, saying, well, as a spiritual person, I should always be in that state of bliss, that state of joy, that state where none of this should bother me. Great. If you get there one day, perfect. Let me know how it goes. Till then, that shit's going to bother you. That's really okay. Try not to take it out on other people. Try to only break things that don't have sentient life. Try not to do things in a moment where you know that you are going to regret it later. It also includes don't stop yourself from doing things that you know that you're going to regret later, that you didn't do. Walk yourself all the way back up. Spin that right knee up to face the ceiling. Step the foot over the left thigh. Good. And then again, you can stay right like this, or you can bend the left knee as well, curling that heel towards the right hip so you can come into that twisted seat. Left arm wraps around your right knee, right hand comes back behind you. Good. Drawing the belly up towards that thigh. So you're really drawing the leg in towards the midline of the body. That's going to help stretch the outer hip, outer thigh. Nice. Nice, Beth. Kristen, Crystal. Nice, Sue. And then bring yourself back to center, please. Don't change the legs. Take both hands to the outside of your left hip. Counter twist. Keep dropping your right butt cheek down to the floor. And then again, let the chest keep opening, shoulders widening, throat moving back. Is your right butt cheek still on the floor? Bring it there. There you go. Good, and then slowly come back to center, unwinding, bringing the legs out in front of you. Bend both knees, bring the bottoms of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. Good. Using a blanket underneath your seat if you need. And then letting yourself walk forward any way that you wish. So if you want to hold the ankles, you can. If you want to thread the arms underneath the knees, go ahead. If you want to extend the arms straight, whatever you like. But keep your feet awake. So the toes are curling back. The baby toes are pushing down. There's an awareness of trying to press the seat down into the floor, the sit bones. And by pressing down through the lower body, you have the ability to then extend from your armpits forward. Pull through the side ribs. Nice. And then walk yourself all the way back up, please. Beautiful. If you are up on a blanket, come down off of it. And then come up onto your sit bones, come up onto your tippy toes. So balancing on your sit bone. Reach for your ankles or your feet. And then start to take the legs out, either to that bent knee, it's sort of like a balancing happy baby, or extend the legs all the way to straight. Nice. Keep your chest lifted, drawing the arms in, drawing the shoulders in. Beautiful. And if you feel pretty comfortable, confident here, no hands, just keep the legs up. And if you feel really confident there, take the legs all the way together. Let yourself drop back into boat pose. You can do that totally wherever you are. Knees can be bent. Deep breath in, lift your chest. Beautiful. Then release the feet to the floor. Let your knees drop wide. Come forward, Baddha Konasana. Right, make your mind keep doing figure eights, wondering what the heck you're doing in this practice. It's like roto-rootering our emotional stagnation, right? Yes. That's why we practice. Nice, Sue. If you have an idea, you think you're going to practice in order to get to a certain destination, I guarantee life, the universe, whatever you call it, is going to add obstacles to that to be like, oh, you think you're in charge of what your inner peace looks like? No. Walk yourself all the way back up. Awesome. Find your way onto your backs, please. If you're in the room with me, turn heads to the center of the room. If you're at home, wherever you'd like. If you have a block with you, bring a block. Then as you come down, bend your knees, please. Lift your hips, place the block underneath your sacrum. And my suggestion is to take the legs up to the sky, so a little supported shoulder stand. If that feels like it is not the thing for you right now, keep the feet on the ground, supported bridge. So let your sacrum be heavy on the block. say in yoga all the time, and it's one of the most frustrating teachings, that we have the ability to act, the responsibility to act, but that the results are not up to us. The same thing is true of your own spiritual practices. You have the ability to regulate or organize or direct your energy however you want, in whatever way you think is best. But the result of those actions is not up to you. Just because you want it to act a certain way doesn't mean that it will. You want your anger to do something specific, doesn't mean that it will. You want your sense of inner peace to look or feel a certain way, to not include certain bits and pieces. Yourself with a capital S, if it had the ability to laugh, it would. We don't define peace. We come to know peace. And knowing peace means stumbling through our mistakes. It means running smack into our own frustration, our own inabilities, our own ineptitude. We have to keep running into it. And through that, we learn to become skillful. Peace reveals itself. And it's not a specific thing that if you just do the right stuff, it'll show up. Is that it is innate in all of us. You have to be at peace with what's in you. And usually that starts by letting go of that idea that you're going to define what's in you as something other than what it is. Take one more breath with your legs up. And go ahead and bend your knees and let your feet come down to the floor. Supported bridge, so just keep yourself safe from all the blocks. Let your feet find the floor. We can find where we can let go of this feeling that there are those imaginary predators that are chasing us. Our own thoughts, our own judgments, our own belief that the world is going to reject us if we're not perfect. But no one's going to believe that we're sincerely attempting a spiritual practice if we are sometimes angry, or if we sometimes get a little greedy, overindulge. Being spiritual doesn't mean you're not allowed to have fun. You're not allowed to enjoy the world as it is. The yogi is one who is always aware. Am I running off the adrenaline of that emotional energy, or am I conscious? Am I skillfully using those impulses and desires and things that already exist in me to create the greatest good, whatever that happens to be? And to know that the greatest good, the ultimate good that we all imagine, is so far beyond you that it doesn't matter what you can or can't do, is you won't be able to do all of it. And that's not a flaw. You do what you can. And as life happens, whatever you do that falls short of your expectations, well, guess what? That's what you could do. In that moment, that's what you were able to do. Good job. Keep trying. Take one more full breath. And press into your feet, lifting the hips up off of the block. Move the block off to the side. Slowly roll down the spine, letting your hips find the floor. And drawing the right knee in towards your chest, extend the left leg straight down to the floor. Come into a spinal twist, bringing the right knee across your body over to the left. Good. Optional is to bend that left knee, the leg that's extended, curl the heel in, reach for the foot or the ankle, quad stretch. And then slowly release, bottom leg first. Coming back to center. And then hugging your left knee in towards your chest, extend the right leg down to the floor, come into your twist on the other side. And again, if you're reaching for the extended leg, curl the heel in towards your butt and reach with the left hand for the foot or the ankle, go for that. And then slowly unwind, releasing the legs, coming back to center. Hug both knees in towards your chest. Forehead up to meet your knees, squeeze. And then release all the way, unwinding your spine, slowly extending the legs, extending the arms. Beginning to feel yourself dropping into the weightiness of the body. So letting the bones and the muscles really be pulled by gravity to the floor. And feel the solidness of the floor and your body relaxing into that, dissolving into that. And then as the body and everything related to it starts to just experience that heaviness, feel how the breath moves easy and light. So the breath is an actual field that expands around the body on the inhale and then softens on the exhale, but that is constantly moving beyond your skin. Very gently bring the awareness back to the breath. Without disturbing yourself too much, let the body begin to stretch and move. And as you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest and roll to your right side. And take a moment before you begin to push the floor away. Come back to an upright seated position. Forgetting 100% completely what your mind was doing before you began practicing. You breathe with what is right now. And this is always what we do, is that we look for how I can be at peace, a feeling of ease with what is here right now. And if what is here right now is painful, I become at peace with that. And if what's here right now is easeful, joyful, I am at peace with that. And if it's somewhere in the middle, or if it's just confused and you don't even know how to name it, become at peace with that. Because that is the essence of the practice, is not to behave perfectly, but to move through this world with the energy of peace as something that you know is always yours, that is, in fact, innate to you. So don't deny any piece of yourself. Allow it to become part of your breath, move with it, become at peace with whatever is there. And through that, you become skillful. And through that, you find out that you've always been good at spiritual practice, because being good at it just means that you try. So keep trying. And whatever happens, the result might not be what you matter, but I promise it's the right one. The result is the result. Leads you to the next breath. Become at peace with what is there. Hands to heart center. Close with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week, until I see you again.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks.
welcome.
Thank you.